So good evening to everyone. So നമ്മൾ കഴിഞ്ഞ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ ട്രാൻസ്മിഷൻ ലൈൻ ഇക്വേഷൻസിന്റെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ വേവ് ക്യാരക്ടറിസ്റ്റിക്സ് ഓഫ് എ ട്രാൻസ്മിഷൻ ലൈൻ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പാരലൽ പ്ലേറ്റ് ട്രാൻസ്മിഷൻ ലൈൻ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ ഭാഗം നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തു. സോ ഇനി നമ്മൾ ട്രാൻസ്മിഷൻ ലൈൻ പാരാമീറ്റേഴ്സിനെ കുറിച്ചാണ് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ട്രാൻസ്മിഷൻ ലൈൻ പാരാമീറ്റേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഏതൊക്കെയായിരുന്നു? വിച്ച് ഈസ് ആർ റെസിസ്റ്റൻസ് പെർ യൂണിറ്റ് ലെങ്ത്, then L, then G, then C. So inductance, conductance, then capacitance, which all per capacitance per unit length, inductance per unit length, resistance per unit length. So ഇതിനെയാണ് നമ്മൾ ട്രാൻസ്മിഷൻ ലൈൻ പാരാമീറ്റേഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. സോ ഇനി ട്രാൻസ്മിഷൻ ലൈൻ പാരാമീറ്റേഴ്സിന്റെ കേസിൽ നമ്മൾ പാരലൽ പ്ലേറ്റ് ട്രാൻസ്മിഷൻ ലൈനിന്റെ കേസിൽ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു? അതിന്റെ ട്രാൻസ്മിഷൻ ലൈൻ പാരാമീറ്റേഴ്സ് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്തു. Now we gonna discuss about the transmission line parameters for two-wire and coaxial transmission lines. Okay, so now we have a transmission line. Okay, if you consider a conductor with the conductivity of a transmission line is normally it will be very high. So conductivity of a transmission line will be normally it will be very high. The conductivity of a conductor, conductivity of a conductor. Okay, so conductivity of a transmission line okay, line is high. So what is that means? So transmission line conductivity is high means, so we can neglect, so the sigma will be much greater. Okay, so we can compare the resistance will be very small in that case. Okay, so we already considered a equivalent circuit corresponding to a transmission line. In that we have connected inductance and resistance in series and the conductance and capacitance in as a shunt. Okay, so series resistance in that circuit can be negligible if the conductivity is very greater than. So as we can consider that in a transmission line usually the conductivity will be very high, so the resistance will be negligible. So what will be the change if the resistance is very negligible? So we have a propagation constant, that is gamma, which is equal to j omega root LC. So we have a j omega root LC as a gamma. So 1 plus g by j omega c raised to 1 by 2. We already seen about the gamma propagation constant in terms of resistance, inductance, capacitance and conductance. Now what we have done is that we have neglected the resistance value, so we are able to form a propagation constant in terms of inductance, capacitance and conductance, not in the form of resistance. So same equation we can either represent it as with in terms of mu epsilon sigma. So it will be j omega root mu epsilon 1 plus sigma by j omega epsilon raised to 1 by 2. So in that also we can compare that g by c will be equal to sigma by epsilon. So if you just keep the sigma g and g by c, you will end up the form g by c equal to sigma e. Okay, so and LC will be equal to mu epsilon e. Okay, so in that comparison we able to see that, so here g by c is there, right? G by c. So similarly here sigma omega by omega e is there, sorry, sigma by epsilon is there, and where root LC is there we have root mu epsilon e. Okay, so if we have L is known, so for example if we have inductance, so L is known means we can see the capacitance of that. Similarly if you know C, from this equation we able to know the inductance value corresponding to that medium. So the series resistance also we can address by introducing a small axial EZ. EZ means the small axial perturbation to the transverse electromagnetic wave, which give rise to the ohmic power dissipation in that line, transmission line. Okay, so if you consider a lossless line, the velocity of propagation will be equal to For a lossless line, the velocity of propagation will be equal to 1 by root LC. This we have seen in last few lectures. Okay, so the velocity of propagation is equal to 1 by root LC, which will be equal to 1 by root mu epsilon E. Okay, so this has been the different relations we are able to identify for a coaxial and a transmission and a parallel transmission. Now we just discuss about the two-wire transmission line. Okay, so we'll consider here a two-wire transmission line. Okay, so for that, what will be the two-wire transmission line? We have what is the capacitance per unit length of two-wire transmission line whose wires have a radius A and are separated by a distance D. So we have a radius wire with a radius A, okay, two wire with a radius A and which are separated by a distance D. So distance of separation means, so distance of separation between two conducting wires is D. Then we have the capacitance will be, the capacitance for a two-wire transmission line can be represented as pi epsilon divided by cos H inverse D by 2a, so which is in Faraday per meter. So similarly in this case we will get mu by pi for inductance into cos H inverse divided by D by 2a. So H by M is the, and we have the conductance as G equal to pi sigma divided by cos H inverse D by 2a. So these are the different parameters corresponding to two-wire transmission line where the radius of the wire is A and the distance of separation between two wire is D. Okay, so to determine R we need to address the ohmic power dissipated per unit length for both wire. So assuming that, so here we just assume that there is a current flow, current density which is in Js A by M. J by M is ampere per meter. We have a current density Js, so which is flow through a very thin surface which have a current 2 pi A Js. So it's a current flow through a thin surface layer. So in that the P sigma will be equal to 2 pi A P sigma, okay, which is equal to half I square Rs by 2 pi A. Okay, so hence the series resistance per unit length, okay, series resistance per unit length can be noted as 2 into Rs by 2 pi A here, which is equal to 1 by pi A pi F mu C divided by sigma C. So this is the resistance corresponding to a two-wire transmission line. Now proceeding like this, we can also obtain coaxial transmission line parameters. Okay, coaxial transmission line parameters corresponding to that. So here we have an external inductance per unit length of a coaxial transmission line with a center conductor radius. Here also we consider the center conductor radius as A and the outer conductor radius as B. Okay, inner conductor radius as, or center conductor radius as center conductor or inner conductor radius, and outer conductor radius as B. So we have a two conductor in a coaxial one, right? So we have L as L means the inductance per unit length will be mu by 2 pi ln b by a. Then in this case we have 2 pi epsilon divided by ln b by a as our capacitance value, and the conductance value can be noted as 2 pi sigma divided by ln b by a as your conductance value. And here to determine the resistance for this case, here also we consider a small current density, Js sigma. So we just consider Js sigma is the current density in this case. So we have a current density on outer and inner. So JSO and JSI is the current surface current density at outer uh, conductor, and the inner conductor is represented as JSO and JSI. So now we have a total current flowing through that, which will be equal to 2 pi A JSI as inner current, so 2, which is equal to 2 pi B JSO. Okay, so the power dissipated here will be, which is equal to P sigma I, which is equal to 2 pi A PAI, which is equal to 1 by 2 I square RS by 2 pi A. So P sigma O, there is the outer conductor power transfer, which is equal to 2 pi B sigma O, which is equal to half I square RS by 2 pi B. Okay, so here we obtain two values corresponding to inner and outer conductor for coaxial transmission line. So similarly with that, if you list out the distributed parameter of two wire and a coaxial transmission line, we will have a table like this. We have a parameter on one side, then the two wire transmission line parameters, two wire line transmission line, then we have a coaxial line, then the units corresponding to those parameters. So what are the units parameters we have? R, L, G, then we have capacitance, right? So these are the distributed parameters in those case. So we'll have C as well. So what is the R for a two-wire transmission line? So for a two-wire transmission line which has pi by A, RS by pi by A, and the inductance will be mu by pi cos H inverse D by A, and pi sigma divided by cos H inverse D by, here is D by 2A, here also D by 2A. Then the capacitance will be pi epsilon cos H inverse D by 2A. Okay, so in a coaxial transmission line, this is like RS by 2 pi into 1 by A plus 1 by B, and inductance will be mu by 4 pi, sorry, mu by 2 pi, okay, mu by 2 pi ln B by A. Then we have 2 pi A divided by ln B by A as the conductance value, and the capacitance will be 2 pi by epsilon ln B by A. Okay, so the corresponding units are being ohm per meter, inductance Henry per meter, Siemens per meter, then Faraday per meter as the unit. So what we have done is that we just listed out the value here. So also we know that in this case RS is equal to what is, which is root pi f mu c by sigma c. Okay, so we consider cos H inverse d by 2a, which is approximately equal to ln d by a. Okay, when d by 2a whole square is very greater than 1. In those case, cos h inverse d by 2a can be represented ln d by a. Okay, so the resistance per unit length in those two cases, I think we didn't complete it. So which will be in terms of resistance per total effective resistance, in those case we will have rs by 2 pi 1 by a plus 1 by b, which is equal to 1 by 2 pi root pi f mu c by sigma c into 1 by a plus 1 by b. Okay, so this is the resistance in the case of coaxial transmission line. Okay, so now here we just identified the different distributed parameters for the two-wire transmission line and a coaxial transmission line. Now we consider the attenuation constant from power relations. Okay, attenuation coefficient we need to identify here. Attenuation constant from power relations. Okay, so how do we find the attenuation constant of a traveling wave on a transmission line? Okay, so here we consider attenuation constant of a traveling wave on a transmission line is the real part of propagation constant, so which can be represented as alpha equal to real part of gamma, right? So which is equal to real part of root, we have r plus j omega l into g plus j omega c. Okay, so attenuation constant also be found from power relationship and the phasor voltage and phasor current distribution on a infinitely long transmission line. So if we have v of z is equal to, okay, so v of z is equal to v0 e raised to minus alpha plus j beta, okay, right, into z, then I of z as v0 by z0 e raised to minus alpha j beta into z. Okay, then the time averaged power, so the time average power propagated, okay, propagated along a transmission line, okay, at any z can be, at any z is what will be p of z. Okay, p of z is equal to, how do it come, which is equal to half into നമ്മൾ നേരത്തെ പോയിന്റിംഗ് വെക്ടറിന്റെ കേസിൽ പറഞ്ഞു അല്ലേ, so v of z into I of z star. Okay, so which is equal to v0 square divided by 2 z0 square r0 e raised to minus 2 alpha z. So by law of conservation of energy, the rate of decrease of p of z with the distance along the line, okay, the rate of decrease of p of z with the distance along the line equals the time average power loss PL per unit length. Okay, time averaged, so we just taken the dou pz by dou z. Okay, so the change in the or rate of change of decrease of p of z with respect to des z, which is equal to pl of z, pl of z. Then we can represent, this will have a form 2 alpha p of z. Okay, so if you just differentiate minus dou by dou z with respect or dou z on p of z, So we'll be getting a 2 alpha p of z as the value for that. So to obtain the alpha, so the alpha will be equal to, from this equation, PL of z is equal to 2 alpha p of z, which is equal to PL of z divided by 2 alpha p of z. Okay, sorry, 2 alpha 2 p of z. Okay, PL of z divided by 2 p of z. So what it means is that the rate of decrease of, here you see, the rate of decrease of p of z with respect to z, okay, which is equal to the time average power loss of PL per unit length. Time averaged power loss PL per unit length, so which can represent as 2 alpha p of z. So by taking this relation, we have attenuation constant in terms of the time averaged power loss per unit length with respect to the rate of with respect to the total average time averaged power along the attaining z എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ. Okay, so PL of z is equal to divided by 2 p of z is equal to alpha എന്ന് പറയുന്ന attenuation constant നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു, in terms of പവറിന്റെ ടേമിൽ നമ്മൾ എന്ത് ചെയ്തു, represent ചെയ്തു. Okay, so that's all. Attenuation constant on power relation എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇതാണ്. Okay, so now we need to move on to finite transmission line, the wave characteristics of a finite transmission line, that we will discuss on our next lecture. So here I am just winding up this part of the discussion, and we'll move on to the next discussion on wave characteristics on finite transmission line on the next lecture.